A release date for Death Stranding.
Come on.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Controller. I'm Gladys, and with me as always is Cryptic Panther.
Hey everybody.
And Fatti.
Hey.
So today we have an announcement to make, and that is that Uber YouTuber will no longer be a regular contributor to Beyond the Controller. And this is by no means a bad thing for us or for him. This is not a nasty breakup that we had. This is purely just life getting in the way. He's been a great asset to the team here and been a part of a lot of interesting discussions and brought a lot of new ideas forward. And life, just as it tends to, has been taking priority. He's coaching soccer for his kid now, and he's just a busy dude. So, you know, between time zones and that, it's just hasn't been able to sync up. So we expect him to show up every once in a while in some form, either the podcast or Game of the Week or something. But as for the regular podcasting program and Game of the Week, Uber will not be regularly contributing to those things. So sad day for us here, but I think it's for the best for him. You know, life is more important. And for us here, we're going to keep trugging on and do everything we can for the regular news. This week in the gaming world, we've got some concrete news. We've got some rumors, controversy, of course, and a possible Nintendo fan uprising. We'll get to that later. First, Panther. We've got a rumor first, and something that I just don't care to hear, and something else I'm excited for. What's the rumor?
Well, let's do this. Let's have another announcement. If anyone knows, me and Fatti know each other in real life, and today, he was at my place. We hung out. Anyways, we went out, get something to eat. My wife, his girlfriend, my niece. We went out, and man, I don't know, dude. I'm not happy with how things went, and I think if this podcast is going to go on, I think maybe one of us should leave.
You know what? I didn't appreciate what you did at dinner, and I didn't want to bring it here. I thought this would be like a subtle place of us just doing business, but no, what you did was uncool. So I don't think I should leave. I didn't get it.
Really?
I wasn't the one that threw a French fry at your face. So.
I don't know what to say about this.
Take the fucking podcast, then I'm done.
Fine, I will. You know, that's what we're gonna do now. Panther's done. We're
at. Okay, no. Let's not do that. How long have you guys planned that shit?
It just kind of happened today at dinner.
You assholes. I'm sitting here like, you guys could have seen my face.
I love that response. No.
Because we made a joke of it that we were going to do it, and then we're sitting here just before you showed up. It's like, so how are we going to do this? He's like, I don't know, just wait till after the intro, then we'll start fighting. And it's like, oh, you want to drag this into the podcast? All right, let's do this.
Well, the fucking joke's on me, because I'm sitting here like, I'm looking around my empty room like, is there a hidden camera on me here? Like, my reaction, the goal? Like, I don't, what am I supposed to do with this? Everything was fine 2 minutes ago. All right, you got me. Let's get back to the news. That's enough.
Right.
There's enough of the jokes on Gladys.
All right, okay. But the comment he made about Uber, that's true. That's not a joke. That's true.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's serious.
That just kind of worked out well. It's like, holy shit, what's going on here? Nah, all right. So we're gonna get into the news now. The jokes are over, or are they? Big rumor. Sony to announce release dates of Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, and Dreams at the Game Awards.
Right.
Just that's all you have to say.
Right.
I'm excited, as I kind of alluded to rolling into you doing this segment. One thing I could care less about is Death Stranding. I've heard enough.
Really?
I don't care. I'm
We
beyond the
haven't,
point.
we haven't
of
heard
being
anything.
interested.
What do you mean we've heard enough? We haven't heard anything. We see.
That well,
We see
let me just rephrase it then. Let me rephrase it.
okay.
I'm tired of being led by the smallest bits of information or the same regurgitated information. I'm sick of the drip of information.
Okay.
And I'm beyond caring because every time there's a big announcement or a big event or whatever, and this game is slated to be on there, it's another, short trailer that doesn't show anything at all, or it's just meant to shock the world and have everybody talk about, oh, wow, yeah, that was really weird. But nobody knows what this game is still. I'm fucking sick of it. I'm sick of hearing about it. I'm sick of talking about it. I don't care. Even if this is going to be a great game now, it's already been ruined for me because like the experience in getting this information has totally soured me.
Okay. Wow. All right.
I have a theory that we're gonna get a release date for Death Stranding, but still not get any more information.
Oh yeah, I think it's gonna be like a crazy, like ridiculous trailer or more floating enemies and weird three-fingered handprints in the sand, and all of a sudden a release date's gonna appear on the screen. Like yeah,
we'll
it's
see.
gonna
We'll
be.
see another image of a woman we were supposed to know, but we don't know, and then they'll say it's coming out in May 2019, and we'll still not know what the fuck's going on. So
Well, maybe we were already playing Death Stranding, are we?
maybe maybe the Canada Post strike is part of Death Stranding.
Ah, shit, that's it. That's why we all become fucking UPS delivery guys because Canada Post strike. Fuck. God, it's been a conspiracy between Sony and Canada Post. Holy shit.
This will be Sony's very first 4D VR game. And we
All right, so we're gonna pass over the Death Stranding, but the possible release dates for Ghost of Tsushima and Dreams. Those are big. That's big.
I'll be honest. I don't know what Dreams is.
Dreams is a game they've shown. They showed it like a couple press conferences ago, and like you can build worlds inside Dreams. It's a concept that is definitely interesting. It definitely takes some research and looking into. There's been some footage released and stuff on it, but it allows you to create, your own world inside a video game.
Huh.
Yeah, people have created other games inside this game to play them. Yeah, like it's like this is some like it's it's definitely
it's a new version of Gary's mod.
Yeah, it's taking the next step into So I'm definitely
okay.
Yeah.
My interest is piqued. I am very excited though for Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, me as well. Me as well. It's it definitely was awesome to see, the trailer and the gameplay they did show us already. So I'm definitely stoked to see a little more and get a release date. We know it's not going to be February because there's like 412 games releasing in 1 week in February alone. So I'm figuring a lot of these titles are going to be mid-year. And it's funny too, after I seen this article on Push Square, there was also a tweet by, is it Jeff, is his last name pronounced Knightley? Keeley? How do you pronounce the guy that runs the Game Awards? I can't remember.
Keeley.
What?
Keeley, I believe.
Keeley? Well, anyways, the dude from the Game Awards made a tweet stating something about like it's like he's excited for all the to be revealed type deals. So he's like even hinting at some big news to be dropped at the Game Awards. So yeah, so maybe this is it. But I mean, I don't know. Is Push Square actually a really reputable website for this article? Because they have a lot of other really clickbaity articles all over the webpage. I'm not familiar
with them.
Yeah,
there was an update though to this article that confirmed it.
A release windows for Death Stranding will be revealed during this year's.
Yes.
Okay, so
that's the update.
Official release dates for Dreams will also be announced. Okay, so I guess the update says that it's they will be released. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Shit.
And we're less than a month away from the Game Awards now.
Yeah,
so
just a couple
coming
weeks.
up shortly.
Yeah, just a couple weeks away. So, yeah, so it rumor but / confirmed. Really, we don't know. Who knows? We'll know, I guess, when the Game Awards comes out.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward.
So, yes, Ghost of Tsushima has been on my radar for quite some time, and I like what I've seen so far. I'll have to look more into Dreams and figure out what that's all about, but I'm interested so far. Moving on here, Fatti. So this is a kind of curious decision for me, and having not opened this article yet, I want to react fresh for you. Talk to us about Ubisoft and Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, we won. Daddy Ubisoft didn't get his way. He bent down for us. So Ubisoft before announced that because they were rolling out a version in different Asian countries, they were going to make some aesthetic changes to the game in Rainbow Six Siege. These changes, while they were small, we kind of discussed in the previous podcast how they might sort of affect players playing the game. They're mainly cosmetic, but at the same time, they could affect like how they direct themselves on the map, stuff like that. So it was a big issue with a lot of fans of the game. They were pissed off that these changes were happening simply because Ubisoft wanted to open up a new country and also not create as much work for them. Well, because everyone's so pissed off, Ubisoft backed up and said, okay, we're going to revert all the changes we just made because everyone's mad at us. So with the launch of Wind Bastion, an add-on for the game, those changes are going to start changing back to how they were before. Now, Ubisoft, in their official statement, said while they're going to try to keep any kind of delays this may cause minimal, it may cause small season delays in the future as they roll out these changes. They also stated that if you are a fan of Rainbow Six Siege in Asia, you're not going to see anything different than players are seeing right now. Now, there's no real clarification on that, so I don't know if they're going to be seeing the game as it sits right now with the changes, the original changes, or are they also going to get the changes reverted as well to keep a truly international build? They don't clarify that, so it's kind of confusing in that way. But yeah, so the fans won. They were pissed. Ubisoft backed off. So I guess it's a win. What do you guys think?
I like this. I mean, not that I'm a Rainbow Six Siege player, and not that any of these changes have affected me at all. But as a gamer, this is good news. I mean, when developers and publishers make changes to games, and it's like, no, we don't like this, we don't want this, and they listen. I mean, I don't want to see a fight between the fans and their developers and publishers. You don't want to see them fighting, but the fact that they made changes and the fans like, hey, we don't like this shit, fix it, and they did. I mean, we saw that with Battlefront 2. Like how much shit was raised and craziness went on for all of that. We seen even with Battlefield 5, the fans freaked out, and DICE come out and they had to make statements regarding what they showed in the trailer was basically like ramped up stuff. It's not going to look like every gameplay is not going to look like this and that. So we're seeing like the fans of game series and longtime fans of franchises are able to push back a bit against changes and even upcoming releases of titles that allows, or not really allows, but kind of forces the hand of the developers and publishers to say, hey, we need to listen to our fan base or we're going to lose them. So, I mean, I think it's good. I think it's good for everybody. I
agree. And without having any stock in what goes on in Rainbow Six Siege, because I don't play it, I have to take the same view that Panther has, and, listening to gamers being the best outcome here that we could hope for. And that seems to be what happened. It's a big deal now how the community reacts to games, and social media is the number one driving force between communication between the fans and the developers right now, at least. And it makes it easier than ever for them to stay in touch with the community, and that goes both ways. So the social surge of people that expressed concern or, even on the worst ends, outrage over changes being made, it had an effect. We've seen it before in other games as well, as Panther mentioned, but I count this as a victory. I think it's good. I think it's a good play on Ubisoft to say that they're listening to their people, to their fans and players, and it's good for players to feel like they were heard.
Now, do you guys think that maybe this could have been avoided by them just building 2 different builds. Do you think they should have put that work in, or do you think the changes should have just been wiped off the board initially?
Well, I mean, I think they should have went ahead and made a separate version with those assets for the regions that don't allow those images. I mean, that's back to the whole, swastikas in like online video games because they don't like that material to be shown. I mean, a lot of people don't like to see the images. A lot of people don't want to see them in video games. And I mean, we're not going to get that argument again, but I mean, they could make a build to have certain games with and without certain assets in other countries, and it's doable on online games.
Just region lock it.
And I mean, that's the thing. I mean, are they going to region lock, or are they going to be able to, like I said, a lot of people, big talk saying, oh, I could do that if I work for this company. That bullshit you see on Reddit every 20 minutes. But I mean, yeah, I mean, they should have went ahead and they should find a solution that if they're not going to region lock the game, then they should have a way that people that are buying it in these countries only get to see that images when they're playing the game. I mean, they should have put the work in. And I mean, to me, it shows... It would open the window kind of to other developers to say, okay, we can do this type of imagery in North America, but we can't do it in Japan or China or wherever the other game is. But Ubisoft was able to create a dual like platform and push the boundaries and say, okay, North America sees these images, but the guys in China don't, even if they're playing on the same against each other. Then that basically opens the door for everybody else to be able to play on a more level field with everybody else, not having to worry about, oh, I have to make a whole new game for another country. I have to make this because of censorship laws or whatever. I mean, I think they should have done the work up front and been upfront about it.
Well, I don't know that it's necessarily feasible to have real-time interactions between players in different regions and have them play different builds of the game.
Well, I mean, if it's a static,
sounds like a problem off bat.
If it's a static image, it shouldn't be that big of a deal.
Well, the thing is,
all the software developers on Reddit.
Right, but the concern that Fatti brought up during our initial discussion, the specific point that he was mentioning was navigation.
That's true.
For static images and pieces of the landscape, the thing is going to be if you and I, we're technically in different, or I mean, we are in different countries. So say just as an extreme example, there's a difference between the United States and Canada and the game versions that we play. And we're playing Battlefield or something. And I said, oh, meet me over here. And in your game, that's never existed.
True. I get it. Yeah, makes sense.
That'd be really difficult in that sense.
I guess so. Yeah, region locking would be the only way to solve the problem.
Yeah, but then you isolate, the entirety of that video game populace in that game. And that's also a problem. So I don't know. I feel like probably their best bet is the clean wipe. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know that it's feasible again without any developer knowledge at all.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, I get what you're saying. If someone in another country happens to be playing on the same team, and I'm seeing, the whiskey bar, and he sees a juice bar. Well, yeah, I mean, if we know, exactly where everything is, but if you're each new to the map and the guys say, meet me at the whiskey bar, and the guy's like, I don't see no whiskey bar anywhere. Yeah, right. I definitely understand what you're talking about. Yeah.
Well, I think in that case, if there's 2 different builds, they would be region locked, right? So you're not going to end up playing with someone in Korea or someplace like that. So you're going to only be playing with people who have the same build as you.
Yeah, and I mean,
right, but wouldn't that kind of suck though? Like, imagine if you were in a country, that was like that, or if you had a friend that was in there, that you would either be barred by connection by not being able to play with them.
Well, this might sound insensitive, but then don't elect dictators to run your country.
It's also true, but in a lot of those instances, they don't really have much of a say in that.
We can't.
I know.
Being a dictator, But you're not wrong, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be that conversation that's always hard to really wrap your head around when it comes to certain things, because of the fact is, none of us are game developers, none of us are software engineers, and we don't know all international laws. So
right,
yeah, I mean,
well, here let's bring it to a real world thing then. So I don't know how familiar I'm assuming Fatti probably more so than Panther here, but you remember StarCraft and when the multiplayer leagues were real big and the Korean teams were dominating everything.
Yeah,
that's always been the thing in StarCraft. So imagine then if the StarCraft builds were different between the Koreans and the rest of the world. How do you compete and how do you compare, because they're no longer the same product? And in some cases it may be the smallest differences, you know, in certain assets or resources, but some little thing could be a competitive advantage. So then do the Koreans just not play on the world stage because they're playing a different game? Or do other teams go to Korea and do they play their version, which they've never played, and then are at a disadvantage? I mean, you see where I'm saying how there is a real world effect here to region locking as well.
Yeah, no, I can definitely understand that, especially with a game such as Rainbow Six. I mean, it's in the esports league as well, just like StarCraft. So yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that. It make things real difficult. So it's a touchy subject that really doesn't have any final answer, I think.
Yeah.
Exactly. China just needs to fuck off.
we haven't mentioned China once throughout this whole thing.
No, not at all.
Is it Korea?
That
was my example.
Yeah, but I thought you were just using an example. I thought you meant we were talking. Was it change is not in China for Rainbow Six Siege?
I think it's in multiple Asian countries.
Oh, well, okay. All them multiple.
But fuck China in individual, right? Like in particular.
I thought. Well, I knew that you were talking. The StarCraft thing was Korea, but I thought the whole Rainbow Six Siege was based and all was all in China. I'm sorry if
you just channeled doing work there with
Yeah.
China. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, he just one small town in or city in the United States. I thought a whole fucking country.
Never one to take small steps.
Nope.
Yeah. It's great. So yeah, it's an interesting discussion. You know, there's it's murky waters. Let me put it that way. You know, it could go one way or the other. Either way that you go is going to make some people mad, some people happy. It's very touchy. You know, that's a good way to put it. But that's what we got now. They are, you know, they have an action plan, so that's what's happening, regardless of what we think of it. All right, moving on here. So this is a topic I'm surprised that you didn't take, Fatti, considering your experience with the game. I know what your general outlook on it is, I believe, but Fallout 76, having just been released very recently, a few weeks ago now, just getting completely torn apart, bombarded in reviews. Nearly all critics agree that at best it's all right. There's a few standouts that, you know, really enjoy what they're doing here in Fallout 76, but a lot of people lean towards mediocre to bad. And so bad, in fact, that just the headlines on some of these articles are crazy. PCWorld.com says Fallout 76 review, almost hell, West Virginia. It's worse than we ever thought it could be. And after 30 plus hours and a stream of increasingly frustrated bugs, we're calling it quits. That was posted 3 days ago as of this recording here. On Reddit, somebody posted from the site Giant Bomb that they were unlikely to review Fallout 76. A spokesperson said, "I'm not going to subject myself to another 20 to 30 hours of this mess just to put a number on it." That is
savage.
The exact quote is, "No one on staff wants to play any more of this video game."
Wow.
My number is don't play this game. God, this guy's just tearing it apart. GameSpot.com rates this a 4 out of 10. And said the only good part, and I'm now on the bottom, like the overview where they give the good, the bad, the score. The good only has one thing in that column. It says Appalachia's varied scenery and set pieces are enjoyable to explore.
Wow.
So 4 out of 10. And then on metro.co.uk, they've got a pretty long write-up here. The headline here is "A bad idea, poorly executed." So not even the idea seems good to them. They score this 3 out of 10. In short, a disastrous failure whose technical shortcomings may one day be fixed, but whose design failings and obliviousness to its own potential suggest a game that is irrevocably broken. Wow. This is crazy. I also have an article that I just found while we were doing this pre-podcast from Forbes.com, and this was posted yesterday. So as of this recording, I'm talking about it being posted on the 23rd. And on Forbes, they actually mentioned another thing, which to put it in perspective now, Fallout 76 on Metacritic is the lowest rated major release game in recent memory. It scores worse than No Man's Sky, Mass Effect Andromeda, and Destiny upon their initial releases.
Jesus.
Yeah. And that really puts it into perspective because you remember all the shit about those games. This is worse than that from everything that we're seeing.
Wow.
And
I did
the
see a 5 out of 10, and I think I seen a 6 out of 10. But I didn't read the review. I didn't get a chance to read the review. I just
those would be the outliers, though.
Yeah, like you said, I can't remember exactly where I'd seen them, but I'm pretty sure I've seen a 5 and a 6. But yeah,
right.
The majority, and I mean, there's been a lot of comments, and I mean, on Reddit, I mean, he can only take everything with a big grain of salt there, but there's been a lot of people that have been extremely upset, and I mean, performances seems varied. I know, Fatti, you're playing it on PC. I know one fellow on console, he said he played for 3 hours with his friends and crashed about 8 or 9 times on PlayStation. So, I mean, like, that reminds me of, Battlefield 4 days. Remember that launch, Baker?
Yeah.
That
oh my God.
I still have nightmares. I still wake up screaming,
Yeah.
I feel bad for the fans of the series that, and I mean, I know, Fatti, that you're going to have some comments on this. I don't want to steal your thunder on it, but I feel bad for the people that, were, looking forward to this as, and they were hyped for it. I mean, I know what it's like to be hyped for a game and then be kicked in the nuts by it. So, I'm not going to say anything else. I want Fatti to have his piece.
Sure. Take it away.
All right. So I've been reading almost every review that I find that comes out about this game. I've been reading it. And I find that they fall into two camps. The first camp is the people who review this game and actually give it a chance, which a lot of these reviews, they are actually giving it a chance. I have to applaud them about that. The other camp are reviewers who they either went into this expecting this to be a typical Fallout game, which since the beginning has been stated it's not, or they went into this knowing already that they would hate this game because they either don't like the idea or they have some preconceived notion of what Fallout should be. They already knew they were going to hate this game, but they played it anyway, and lo and behold, they fucking hated it. To them, I say, fuck off. Get out of here. I'm not listening to your shit because I've put more hours into this fucking game than I can conceive in the last week. The people who actually gave this game a chance, I agree with a lot of the things they're saying. This game, although on PC it's running better than on consoles, so I understand the scores on consoles being fucking low. This game is a buggy fucking mess. The beta had nonstop crashes. Half of them quests weren't working. There were constant performance glitches. There were constant clipping glitches, everything. It was a fucking mess. And that was only 2 weeks before release. So what could they fix in 2 weeks? Not very much. So when it released, it's still a fucking buggy mess. They released an update on the 19th, I believe, and it's fixed a few things, but I mean, it's still fucking, for a AAA game, it is just torn apart. Like it's messy. But I still love it. I mean, every time I play it, I'm still having a shit ton of fun. I can disappear for hours into this game, just even playing by myself, not even playing with other people, which is the whole point of this game, and I'm still having a blast. So I find myself at this weird crossroads where I absolutely love this game, but a lot of what people are saying is true. I agree with. It's a poorly put together game running on an old engine with more bugs than most flea infested apartments in the ghetto. Like, it's fucking messy. It should not be a AAA released game. This should be an early access game. This is an early access game. This is what Fallout Online should be before it hits the beta stage. This is like an alpha stage.
And that's what I read in one review or some comments was this game definitely feels like what a broken early access game is like. Because I've played some early
Exactly.
access games that played well. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, and that's the thing. And what I want to ask is, do you think this game was what a lot of people are calling it? It was them trying to jump on this bandwagon of the shared online experience in video games seem to be a big thing right now. The whole, you know, survival with your friends deal. Do you think they were jumping on that money bandwagon and didn't care what they put out?
No. And the reason I say that is you can tell that some care and passion went into the idea of this game. It was thought out. The mechanics are well thought out. Everything in theory and on paper is well thought out. Like, this is a very unique game, and especially to the Fallout universe. I mean, as a Fallout fan myself and the rest of the Fallout fans, we've been dying for some sort of multiplayer. You know, a lot of people are on the fence about having a Fallout multiplayer, but there's so many of us that wanted it. So when we found out we were getting it, we were ecstatic. And I think Bethesda knew that. They wanted to give us this. It was the execution. I don't know what happened, what got lost in transit, but all the ideas were sound on paper, but they just didn't execute right. And so you're left with a game that has a story, but it has no plot. It's very empty. The PvP system, it's good, but it's broken at the same time. I mean, to fight people, you have to shoot them and they have to shoot you back. But if they don't shoot you back, you can keep shooting them, but like it's basically shooting them with a BB gun. You're not doing any damage. So that opens the world up for griefers. I mean, would you like to walk around a world with someone smacking you with a sign for like a full hour while they try to get your health down? No, that's fucking annoying. And there's kids out there that are gonna do that. So I think that needs to be addressed. The lack of NPC is another big complaint. I don't so much mind it. I hate how the story is driven through letters and emails and stuff, but how else can you do it without NPCs? But at the same time, the thing I really like about this game is the odd interactions that you'll find with people who are online. I mean, I haven't teamed up with anyone outside of Panther in the beta, but I've ran into people countless times, and it's always weird to kind of peek in on their conversation to hear what they're talking about, or if they run into you and they ask for help with something. There's so many different things that happen. I read a story on Reddit about how this guy followed this other dude around dressed as a clown, and he didn't talk in his mic. He only just followed and stared at him. And even when enemies were attacking him, he just stared at this one dude, just kind of creeping out. So,
I'm creeped out. It worked.
yeah, exactly. So eventually, like, he fought, or the other dude fought off all the people that were attacking this clown guy, and the clown guy made like a heart emoji and then lit himself on fire and died. And he left a full bag of bones. That was it.
What the fuck?
Exactly. And I can't think of another weird ass game where that will happen. Like, you could do some stuff like that on Scum and shit, but in the Fallout universe, the world is built around that creepiness, and so that's what works.
Yeah,
But
I noticed another thing you said about the older game engine, and that's a fault too. And we see some other developers that seem to constantly just put out games on old game engines, and like they've pushed the limit to what the game engine can do now. They need to move on, and they're failing to do so.
Well, Call of Duty comes to
Exactly.
mind first.
Yeah, and I don't
Right.
understand. And I don't understand. As you know, as Bethesda always, you know, trying to push the envelope, and they're trying to always, you know, get the fans what they want, and they're always, you know, pushing themselves as being, you know, kind of out there and stuff. And I'll give them credit. They do like to interact. They do, you know, like their E3 press conferences and stuff are usually pretty entertaining. I'm not a fan of the Fallout series. I have very, very limited time with it, so I can't be objective. But to me, like when a developer, you know, is especially with this big leap forward in what a Fallout game is, they should have definitely went to a new game engine. And to me, it just shows them being lazy.
yeah, I mean, I can only hope that they announced Elder Scrolls 6. I hope to fuck they create a new engine for that. If
Yeah.
they don't, there will be riots in the streets. Like, it's just bad. The engine is so old at this point. They've pushed it to its edge. But yeah, so I agree with a lot of what reviewers are saying. It's a mess, but it's still fun. I still recommend it. The last thing I'll say is this kind of pissed me off. The game released last week, and then 8 days later, Bethesda for Black Friday dropped the price down to $40 US.
Yeah.
Actually, they just dropped it to 35 today.
Are you fucking kidding me? In Canada, I paid $109 for the collector's edition, not the collector's edition, special edition, deluxe edition, whatever it is. It dropped down to $80 for Black Friday, 8 days after I dished out 109 plus tax. What the fuck do I get? Like, they basically just said, oh, hey, fans who pre-ordered the game, thanks for the support. By the way, fuck you. Guys, come and buy this cheap game. Like, and they've showed no remorse or any kind of reaction to it. So
yeah, no official word from Bethesda about this.
Exactly. So Bethesda, fuck you guys. I love your games and I have a blast in this, but you did us fucking dirty.
Yeah. Wow. And with this is officially Bethesda's lowest rated game, and by a huge margin. You got to figure that something is going to be done about this. You know, there's got to be some statement coming out or something. But the money thing, I think, is the most immediate concern, because that's crazy.
It scored less than Fallout 4, which was like one of their most hated Fallout games.
Yeah.
And that's saying something.
And speaking of Fallout 4 here as well, there's another article I've got up that says, and I don't have concrete numbers here, but apparently Fallout 76 sales are down 82% from Fallout 4 in the same time frame.
Mm-hmm. I can see it.
That's just unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, people are doing mass returns. Well, they're trying to.
Yeah.
You can do it on PC if you ordered through Bethesda.net, but you can't if you ordered from any retailer because it was a digital code.
Yeah.
So, fuck, man. I don't know.
It's wild. I mean, this is going to be a huge topic here. I think for a while, you know, whatever their announcement is going to be, they need to make one, obviously, and they, I think, need to set pretty much like a roadmap of, you know, what they're going to do and when they're going to do it, because just saying, hey, we'll work on it's not going to be good enough for this scale of being messed up. It's too much.
Yeah, I can see them supporting this game for years to come, and it will turn into something great, but, I mean, if they can't set a roadmap, like you said, right now to show what they're doing with this, they're going to lose all support, and then the game's going to lose support. I mean, they're not going to support something that people aren't playing.
Right.
People aren't going to play a broken piece of shit.
Well, my question is, if they planned on, you know, supporting this game for a long time, then they're definitely going to have to remake the whole thing and give it away, because the game engine is fucking old and broken.
You think this is going to go free to play eventually? We've seen games do it in the past, but if this is going to be an online only experience, and if it's entirely broken, I mean, stranger things have happened.
It really, I mean, it should have been early access. That's what I'm saying. It should have been. This should not be a release.
No, they should have. Should have. Yeah, I mean, the thing is with a lot of betas is, you know, you get an older build as a beta, like they you know, they do alpha in house, they do a beta, and a lot of times the beta is just, it's a build from like 4 or 5 months ago. They give it to people to play while they're still working on the final release. So the beta you play usually is an older, usually by a couple months in some cases, before the release. And I mean, that's common. Everybody does it. But when their beta was as messy as it was, and, you know, even though the build was possibly, you know, a month or two old, and I'm only speaking from what we've been told for previous betas of other companies, I can't speak for Bethesda, but I mean, it just made no sense that if they knew the beta was that fucking busted, they should have long before this, they should have changed the release date to next year. They had to know
that wasn't
this
even a
game was
beta.
broken.
That was a demo. That was a fucking demo.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, they to me, it just, they have this habit of, you know, at E3 announcing the game coming out in a couple months just so everyone's fucking hyped and revved up and going crazy for it, and they don't deliver. They've done that with Fallout 4, and they've done it with Fallout 76. So I mean, they have a proven bad track record right now. So I don't know.
What boggles my mind too is how much of a maker's mark Bethesda has with their games for being buggy fucking messes.
Yeah.
And it's completely astounding now because it's always on the same engine. So how do they not get any better over all these releases? How has it not improved the experience? It should be like butter right now.
Yeah, I think the previous releases, because they were all just single player, the bugginess was almost a novelty. But this is completely different. You're creating a massively multiplayer online game, and you can't have that just be a buggy mess. No matter, even if that is your niche, even if people were like fans of the bugs in Fallout New Vegas because it was funny, you can't do that in an online atmosphere.
No, because it
Just doesn't
breaks
work.
the experience to the point where it's unplayable.
Exactly.
Yep. Well, that's what we've got going on right now with that. I'm sure by the next podcast, I would probably bet money on it that we're gonna have an official response. We may not have anything concrete that we're looking for yet, but there's going to be some type of response by Bethesda.
They have to
yes.
at this point.
Hopefully, yeah.
Well, speaking of one of our earlier topics with region locking and fuck the Chinese, Panther, China's coming after Winnie the Pooh. Apparently, what's going on?
Oh man, this is some hot topic. We need bells and whistles and all this shit going on. This is hilarious. So we all know of this heart. I don't know if we all know about this. This is not a very well known game. I don't think anyone's ever heard of this. Kingdom Hearts 3. Has anyone heard of this? I think we only saw.
It's a little indie game, right?
I think we only saw 42 fucking trailers for it at E3 last year.
Right.
So the Chinese game site censors Winnie the Pooh in Kingdom Hearts 3. So when the Chinese game site A9VG recently covered Kingdom Hearts 3, it decided to remove one thing, Winnie the Pooh. Below is a screenshot from the A9, I keep wanting to say AVG, A9VG coverage that was posted on Weibo, which is China's version of Twitter. It showed an image of the game, and the Pooh character is like blowing it white. It looked like someone poured white out on the screen. Or like he was, I don't know really how to say it, but yeah, it's like the textures weren't drawn in, and it's funny you can see his feet, and that's all you can see in these images. It's like, it's so ridiculous. It's like, what is this? So so like, you know, kind of what the big question's been going around, what the hell is all this about? What's wrong with Pooh Bear? So in other words, you know, the big question is what gives. So Chinese leader, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna probably say this completely wrong. Xi Jinping.
I think Z, but Jinping sounds right. Yeah.
Jinping. Anyways, has been reportedly compared to Winnie the Pooh, which has led to a crackdown of the character in Chinese social media.
So Pooh Bear has been memed out of existence in China. It's fucking the stupidest thing that I've said. Like,
so
this whole week.
memes do hurt.
Winnie the Pooh, though.
If you're a thin-skinned fucking dictator from China.
Yeah.
So there's a Twitter post, and it's like, American friend, why the fuck is Winnie the Pooh banned in China? And it's like, me sends image, friend thin-skinned. What the fuck is this image of Winnie the Pooh and Tigger walking, and side by side is a picture of this Xi Jinping dude and Barack Obama. So they're comparing him to Winnie the Pooh, and now they see the picture. Yeah, I see it. It's fucking hilarious.
I mean, this particular picture of the stance is appropriate, but
yeah.
I mean, without knowing anything about this guy, does his demeanor remind of Winnie the Pooh?
Does he always got his hand in the honey jar? Does he walk around in a red t-shirt when no one's looking? No pants on?
No pants. Yeah, I don't know.
He's the no pants dictator.
This is ridiculous, though.
Most
this is
recently,
so stupid.
More recently, the movie Christopher Robin was banned in China. According to Hollywood Reporter, no official reason was given, but a source claimed it was due to the Pooh comparisons. Oh my god! Holy shit!
I can just imagine this guy in the office like, we gotta ban that Christopher Robin movie. Sir, why should we ban it? Because I said so. Quietly goes to his computer. Oh,
they call me Winnie the Pooh. Fuck them.
Brings his assistant. Bertha, give me my honey.
And take off my pants. Bring me my red shirt and my jar, honey. Shit, this is too funny. When I see that linked in the doc, I'm like, I gotta talk about this. Couldn't pass it up. But yeah, I can't imagine they banned it. So what happens to the game launches? Are they gonna? I think it's gonna be a censored version in China. Like, how are they gonna get around that? Like, what the hell?
You know what I can't wait for, though? I can't wait for the game to actually release and people start superimposing this guy into footage of the game.
Oh shit, that's gonna happen. It's gotta happen. Oh fuck, that's just too ridiculous. And I mean, I don't know, man. That's some fucked up shit.
It is.
I can't wait.
And it's just, it really, just absurdly thin-skinned.
Yeah.
Like, again, Winnie the Pooh, one of the most beloved characters of all time, has been memed out of existence
in China.
In China.
Oh my god, that's fucking ridiculous.
Fucking crazy. That's the silliest topic that we're gonna have on here for a while, I think. Maybe.
Maybe.
We'll see. Fatti, let's move towards Russia while we're near that part of the world. What's going on over there?
Yeah, so Nintendo fans in Russia are pissed at Nintendo Russia's boss, and they want to give him the toss. They want him to get the fuck out of office. Recently, a video has been circulating of him at a live stream hosted in Russia of Mario Kart, where back in July he started thrashing about and swearing at the hosts of the live stream. I believe calling one a retard. Panther, was that correct?
Yeah, he called one of them a retard and then swore.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was a fucking retard was what he called somebody.
It might have been.
Oh, maybe. Maybe. I know the word retard was used, and then he said something about he called him a piece of shit, or he said fuck this shit, or yeah. Like
so they dropped a banana or a red shell on him.
I don't know. Yeah. Something happened. He lost his temper.
But so he was stomping around and swearing at the hosts during the stream while they calmly kept playing their game. Apparently, he got pissed that the stream was not promoted right and did not understand if the stream was live or not, which sent him on a tangent. The CEO named, I'm going to butcher this, Yasha Haraji, I think. He's been hated by fans in Russia for quite a while now, actually. Another thing that they blame him for is in September, Nintendo Russia ended the sale of new Pokemon trading cards in the region after prices rose due to currency fluctuations. And then just this week, to add on to his list of shit he's done, Russian retailers reported they're struggling to meet the pre-order demand of the new Pokemon Let's Go Eevee editions because the dude ordered too many Pikachu ones. And fans are pissed. So far, since the video came up and this week's actions, there's been a change.org petition going around called Save Nintendo of Russia from its CEO. It's got almost 1,000 signatures, and they're hoping to oust this motherfucker. It's great.
Wow.
As of a few days ago, Nintendo themselves have confirmed they're investigating the reports, the video, as well as other reports from people within Nintendo of Russia, sort of stating his demeanor is kind of shit. So they're investigating all that, but unfortunately, they said they're not commenting any further until the investigation is done. So we might be seeing a new boss of Nintendo of Russia.
Yeah.
Or somehow he's going to stay in. I don't know. Some weird shit happens in Russia.
I got a question. Is Nikolai Volkov still alive? Can we get Nikolai Volkov to head Nintendo Russia?
What gets me is, other than appearing on a live stream and calling one of his hosts a fucking retard, is that the dude ordered too many Pikachu games over Eevee games, and the fans are just rioting. They're so pissed.
Pokemon fans are dumb. Oh, shit. This is ridiculous, man. We got some great news stories this week.
Yeah, I don't even... God.
In all seriousness, CEOs, don't call your employees fucking retards on stream. That's just bad.
And it's a stream geared to kids.
Yeah, exactly. Some 9-year-old in Russia is like, "Mommy, this guy just called the host a fucking retard." It's so bad. What good business practice do you think that would fall under?
Shit.
God, I don't know, but I feel like what they're gonna do in Russia here is they're gonna get like the loudest mouths of people talking bad about this guy, and he's just gonna sit them all down for a nice cup of polonium tea. Either that or like they're gonna accidentally fall down, 7 flights of stairs and then get hit by a car.
Yeah.
These accidents just happen over there.
They do.
Russia's a weird place. Stuff just happens. Sometimes you wake up and there's a bear in your bed and you just don't understand why.
Pretty much. God. All right. So moving on to just another rumor here, and I feel like it's most of this podcast now. There was a tweet done, and I don't know who this guy is. Maybe I just don't recognize the handle or what, but a user by the name on Twitter of Tidux. He posted, and this was on November 17th, so last week to the day of this recording. Best thing on internet now. I'm going to guess he doesn't speak English primarily. PlayStation fans keeping their cool after the news that PlayStation won't attend E3. I promise you, you will get a very special event next year. It's on the horizon. So, pretty sure this is a tease towards Horizon Zero Dawn. I don't know that we're going to see a sequel. I don't know that this would tease that yet, unless they announce it years out. But this is probably going to be the PlayStation 5 announcement, and I'm going to guess Horizon Remastered or Game of the Year Edition or whatever. But I think it's probably going to be an upgraded version of it. For me, and maybe I'm just wrong, but it feels too soon for a sequel. What do you guys think?
Well, the rumor kind of way that people are looking at it is it's going to be a launch title for the PlayStation 5.
Okay.
Which would mean 2020. That's the kind of the guesstimate that everybody is, throwing around for the next wave of consoles. So that would give Guerrilla 3 years to work on the sequel, right?
Right.
So that definitely is potential. I don't see them announcing it for the PlayStation 4. We're not getting Horizon Zero Dawn 2 on the PS4, unless it's going to be a PS4 and a PS5. But I'm thinking it's going to be a PS5 launch title. I mean, Guerrilla had a Killzone was a launch title for them.
Right.
So I'm figuring since Horizon Zero Dawn was such a big seller and moved Guerrilla on from the single player, well, they did online, but I mean that first person shooter style to this big the big open world RPG style that Horizon is. They proved themselves, so I'm thinking Sony is going to give them an opportunity to have Horizon Zero Dawn be a launch title for PS5. And that's a lot of the rumors, and it does make sense that in 3 years, game development kind of run to 3 to 4 year cycle, and we all know that the big game, like the games that sell, especially the story based games that sell for Sony, they get sequels. Without a doubt. So,
well, a sequel is inevitable. I don't know. For me, I just feel like it was still recent, even though I know it's been a while. And that would also mean that the development cycle immediately went to the sequel. And I don't know that I like that idea either. I don't know. Like I said, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just like I'm not rooting that in any type of logic, really. Even it's just kind of my emotional reaction to it. Feel like it's too soon. Honestly, I'd rather see them go back and like perfect Killzone because I don't feel like they've done it. I think that they need to really take their time, and I don't know. I'm sure that we're gonna get the PlayStation 5 announcement next year. I just don't know that I want to see Horizon Zero Dawn 2.
Well, Horizon Zero Dawn launched February 28th, 2017, right?
Still feels too soon.
Well, 2020.
It's not a rational thing for me. I don't know. My emotional response is that it's too soon. Okay. I don't know.
Well, there was also talk back a few months ago that they were doing a big hiring drive, and also they hired, I can't remember the individual, but he worked on some multiplayer stuff. So there's potential that they're looking to build another multiplayer game. So
Yeah.
I mean, like Guerrilla, I know they've kind of been always a team that worked on one game at a time, and now that they had the success and they have the Horizons, basically it's going to be a series. There's going to be more than 2 games. I'm figuring this is going to be a series for them. Now that they have this story, they can take team members that have multiplayer experience and possibly make a new Fallout, a new what game did you just say? Jesus Christ! Too many things roll around in my brain right now.
Horizon, man, or Killzone, one of the other.
Yeah, another Killzone, or a new, completely new IP that's based in a first-person shooter. Because I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Killzone story's kind of been left aside. Like, there hasn't been any talk of Killzone since after the release. So, I mean, maybe they're going to shock us, and maybe that's what it's going to be. Maybe they're going to have a PS5 launch title that's,
Well, and it's common for developers, I think, to ping pong back and forth, especially if they've got 2 franchises or more even. It's typically not done several games in a series before they go to the next one. I mean, usually, I guess.
Right. But like I said, they were always, in my mind, they only had the Killzone series, right?
Pretty much. And that's what I know them for, at least. As well.
Right. So they went from Killzone to Horizon. So it's not unheard of that they've now expanded their team enough to work on 2 games.
That's true.
So I don't know. I mean, I know the fans are looking for a sequel. So, I don't know. But and this individual, this Tidux guy, whoever pronounce his name, apparently he's a big insider, and he always seems to be pretty close on Mark with a lot of his information. So,
yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, he's got, I'm looking at his Twitter page right now. He's got almost 16,000 tweets total. He's got 11,000 followers. So I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know anything about him. So for me, it's just a name out of thin air.
And I can only go by some of the information that I was reading online. Like I said, I don't know who he is either. So
yeah.
But like I said, and I mean that it's also based on the speculation of the announcement of them not showing up at E3 this year coming as well. So that they're going to have their own press event or multiple events throughout the year that is going to be something else. So like I said, we're getting a PS5 announcement this year. I'll not this year, but next year. I pretty much put money on it. I'd be more shocked if we didn't get a PS5 announcement next year.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think we can pretty much guarantee it's getting announced next year. But yeah, I don't know. A guy said some words, and now we're talking about it, but nothing's confirmed.
That's all it takes.
Yeah, that's all it takes. So let's move on here to some actual concrete numbers here. Maybe, but I haven't opened up your articles. But Panther, Black Ops 4 is apparently doing extremely well. How well?
So Black Ops 4's lack of campaign doesn't hurt sales in the slightest. So Treyarch and Activision took a risk by omitting a traditional single-player campaign in Black Ops. So their sales numbers have been really, really well. It's one of the best-selling games of the series. There's an article, there's a lot of back and forth talk about quarter numbers and this and that, and the release numbers for PC aren't revealed, and I don't know, like the cloak and smoke and mirrors and cloak and dagger and all this other shit. And there's another article here, and I've got a question to ask you. What's bigger, 500 million or 725 million?
I have to stop you right there for a second. I'm so glad that Panther picked this one to talk about, because I could hear the disdain in his voice already when he's talking about COD.
And it's not for Call of Duty itself. It's the fucking information that's being given. Within its first weekend following its October 12 launch, Black Ops 4 surpassed 500 million sales worldwide. In comparison, Red Dead Redemption 2 opening weekend following its launch on October 26th brought in 725 million. So how is Black Ops 4 the best-selling game in October when it didn't sell as many copies in a weekend or in the month that one sold in 3 days? Or am I reading the information the way it's listed in the article wrong?
Within its first weekend
Following
following its
its-
launch, Black Ops 4 surpassed 500 million in sales worldwide. In comparison, Red Dead Redemption 2's opening weekend. Oh, okay, yeah.
25
So
million.
within its first weekend following its launch on October 12th, I think the wording there is what does it.
Anyways,
October
they go
12th.
on
Go ahead.
to compare a game that came out for 3.5 weeks versus a game that came out for not even a full week, and stating how it beat Red Dead Redemption 2 in sales in a month. Well, no shit. The game was out a lot fucking longer, you dumb fucks. God. Like, what the fuck kind of bullshit reporting is this? Like, I mean, they go on about numbers. They say Call of Duty 2018's best-selling game in North America, beating out Rockstar's Red Dead Redemption 2 in its highly competitive month. IGN, get fucked. Like, it's comparing apples to oranges, man. You can't compare that. And fucking Black Ops sold on 3 platforms. Red Dead sold on 2.
Yeah, there's that.
You know,
I don't think
I mean-
there should be a direct comparison. I think that if you want to just say monetary value, like, with all factors considered, Black Ops 4 sold more. That's fine, but just make sure that you spell out that it's not a direct comparison,
Exactly.
as Panther has alluded to.
Exactly. And that's what angered me about this whole thing. And I'm not the only person to bring it up. Other people have made the same statement. It's like, well, sure. And I mean, I'll give props. They the Treyarch took the risk and didn't include a single player because they done the overdone battle royale, and I mean, it paid off for them. But like I said, they still haven't done anything groundbreaking in 15 years with Call of Duty, have they? Really? Other than adding a battle royale game, like, really, has anything really changed in the Call of Duty game, Fatti?
I mean, other than like the general gameplay, yeah, it's still a run and shoot people, but it's definitely advanced compared to what it has been. I mean, if you look at Black Ops 1 compared to Black Ops 4, even the standard team deathmatch, it is a very different game.
Okay.
They handle differently. It's much faster, more technical. It is a different game.
Okay.
If you want to look at it generally, then yeah, it's the same. But I mean, a lot of games are like that, right?
I get it.
Especially shooters.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it just like every year we just seem to get a copy and paste of a Call of Duty game, and every year there's always the one side that hates Call of Duty, the one side that says it's the best game on the planet, and nothing ever changes. Like, and I get that there's a lot of games, same as people that like, I mean, I like Battlefield, they don't like Call of Duty. I mean, I've ripped the shit out of Battlefield games. I mean, and I play them, I pay for them. So, I mean, I like I said, I just kind of, I guess, I played a lot of Call of Duty Black Ops 1, and I didn't hate it. But every other game after that, if I ever played any of it, or any interaction with anything Call of Duty, have always been so negative. And it just seems
Well,
like
my negative reception to a lot of Call of Duty titles is based in, like, they have a 3-year development cycle, which I thought was a great move for them.
but
When it was announced that they had 3 studios that would have 3-year cycles, I'm like, okay, so they can churn out a title every year from a different studio, but that should give each of them enough time to make them distinctly different, right?
yeah.
Well, that's not the case, though.
No,
No.
that's kind of my thing as well. Like I said, I'm not. Like I said, they have kind of fixed some issues. I know they, like I said, the fact that they had the battle royale was a saver. If they didn't have that, I think they really would have hurt themselves not having a single player. I mean, but I mean, like I said, a lot of people don't even play the single player games and in Call of Duty, and I think that's what they learned from. That's why they love the battle royale. So
I wouldn't mind touching on that a little bit. I think even if they didn't add the battle royale, that's definitely helped them with sales. But I think they probably would have been fine just as a typical Call of Duty multiplayer. Because, like I said, this game compared to the last like 5 that have come out, it is a lot better. If you look at Advanced Warfare or whatever the fuck the last 3 were, it's a lot better. It's definitely has some different aspects to it. And it's always kind of been that way. Like Baker said, there's 3 different studios that churn these out. But the Black Ops series of Call of Duty has always been the shining pinnacle of those 3. The other ones are kind of, I mean, Ghost sucked, Infinite Warfare sucked, whatever that other last one sucked.
World War II.
Yeah. That wasn't great. So when it comes back to Black Ops, they're always on a higher pedestal. So I think without the battle royale aspect, they still would have done just fine. They wouldn't have reached the numbers they have right now, but they would have been fine. And I think, like Panther said, they've learned no one plays their single player campaigns anymore. I mean, the last one I played was Black Ops 1. That's
Yeah.
the last single player campaign I played.
Same.
From. I tried to play Ghosts, and it was fucking god awful. So, I mean, people aren't buying this game for a good story. They're buying it for the competitiveness. And I think Black Ops 4, even without the Battle Royale, knocked that out of the park. It's definitely the best Black Ops game they've made so far.
Okay, well, props to Treyarch then.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just like I said, every time you turn around, it's the same kind of another Call of Duty game, copy and paste from last year, another Call of Duty game. You know, oh, it's the same game as last year, and now everyone's got jetpacks, everyone can wall run, but it's still the same basic game on the same engine every year. There's never seems to be any like real big stride and advancement. It's just like I'm like that. I mean, I'll admit I shit on COD sometimes just to kind of be that I hate COD guy just to kind of be funny. But I mean honestly I don't have interest in the series because it's just the same thing every year. It's like eating a fucking dry bowl of oatmeal for breakfast every fucking day. How long can I do that?
And that's okay. Like, you're not a fan, that's all right. But if you look at this objectively, like take Battlefield for instance, it's essentially the same thing. It's a lot of copy paste. Yes, you're going to a different timeline. It's a few new features added, but it's still a basic shooter, right? You're still running, capturing a point, shooting some people, trying to get to another point. It's been that since Battlefield 2.
Oh, I mean, I get it. The Battlefield series does have a lot of the same. But I mean, to me, and I mean, like I said, because I play the games, and I mean, I do watch a lot more of the footage and a lot more of the information than I do Call of Duty because the game doesn't interest me. Not saying I don't, and I have not watched some Call of Duty stuff. I even played some of the beta for the Battle Royale. I didn't like it. I just, for some reason, I'm like, this isn't for me. And it was like, okay, I've seen the changes in Battlefield because I play it. I don't see the changes in Call of Duty because I don't play it. So I guess I'm not 100% objective, and I'll be upfront about that. But
no, I think it's just shooters in general, right? You can only stray so far from what the base game is because that's what shooters are.
Right.
And it's just inherent of the genre.
Right. There's a formula to it that you can't really deviate that much from.
Right. Yeah. But like I said,
now within that though, I think while we're getting wildly off topic and comparing these series, I think Battlefield at least has the excuse of being the same developer every time.
Yeah.
So when they make a game that's incredibly similar, it's because it's the same team. It's the same formula. They usually improve on their engine, but the upgrades are usually minimal. It's mainly like just design choices on how they approach the same things that kind of makes or breaks a game. For them at least. I don't give Call of Duty any slack whatsoever because they've got an extremely long development cycle to make an extremely simple game. And they fail to do it for me each year. I just don't understand because if you think of it right now, like, okay, DICE as a studio makes Battlefield. Every couple years we get a Battlefield release. But if there was two other studios, whatever they are or whoever they are is irrelevant. But if there were two different studios and they each were tasked to make a Battlefield title, you can bet your ass that they would be wildly different. I don't think at all that you could be able to say, as Panther just described the last couple of Call of Duty releases, this one's the same, oh, this is the same. How are they the same when they're from totally different teams? That's crazy to me.
Oh yeah, and I kind of agree with that. I mean, part of it I think is Activision wants these games to sort of fit within that formula because they know what makes them money. It's been making the money for years, and they want to stick to that. But I also think, like I said, Black Ops is kind of the pedestal right now. The Black Ops series is like top of the game. It's what Modern Warfare was. Every other Call of Duty studio wanted to make the next Modern Warfare, but only one of them could. So I think that's kind of what we see is like the other two studios that go into it, and they're like, well, we want to make something as good as Black Ops, whatever the fuck we're on now. And they try, but they fail. So we get these like copy paste things that Panther was talking about, where they are a lot alike and we don't see any kind of progression. So I think part of it's on Activision, part of it's on the other two studios. It's just what it is, I guess.
Like
Yeah,
I said,
pretty
and I
much.
mean to get off. Like I said, I'll give them props. They done something smart with this, and they had amazing sales. But like I said, the other article going on about stating that it outsold this game and that game and blah blah
Yeah, I don't
blah.
know how
But
it does
but when
that.
you throw numbers up that one sold 500 million, in sales worldwide, and the next line is, well, this game sold 725 million in less than a week.
Yeah,
It's
it does.
opening weekend. Unless they're comparing opening weekends and they're not, it's a full month because it doesn't state, because it says here also as of number 7, Red Dead has shipped over 17 million copies. That's shipped. It doesn't say sold, which I don't know why they
Right.
use these damn ship numbers. Sounds like the old Xbox trick. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'll give them props for turning it around and selling and making a game that everyone seems to like and enjoy. I don't know, are people still playing Battle Royale, Call of Duty?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot more people have shifted back to Team Deathmatch because that's COD, right? That's Call of Duty.
Right.
But people are still playing the Battle Royale. But yeah, I don't think the math works out. This COD does not even touch Red Dead Redemption, not even in the slightest.
Yeah, because another part of the article said not only did Black Ops 4 become the best-selling game this month, it almost instantly became the best-selling game of the year.
No.
And its launch month dollar sales are 8th highest on record since NPD began tracking game sales in 1995. Sorry, Black Ops 4 was the best-selling game of October on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Okay, but wasn't Red Dead Redemption like the second highest selling entertainment
Ever.
in history?
Yeah. So I don't understand. Either that article was lying or this article's lying or someone's smoking some really, really bad fucking reefer.
Yeah,
I don't get to understand how the one company can say one thing and this article comes out and all these reported numbers don't make any sense.
I just want to see units sold. If
Yeah.
they just put those numbers there, and we can compare those time frames, like where it's side by side, then I'm fine. But what bothers me is that these articles don't do that.
Yeah.
Like you can say that this is the highest selling game of this or whatever this. Okay, but how do I know that if you don't provide that proof? It bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Whatever. Fuck them. The
And
numbers will come out.
And in other news, the sky is green. Just believe us.
Yeah. All right, so we're reaching the end of the podcast here. We've gone on a little bit long. I do, however, I want to insist that we move on to this next topic, and the reason is we always give shit to Fortnite. And on the podcast that we announced Uber wasn't going to be regular with us anymore, I feel he deserves this final positive moment here in this podcast. And I think we should end this on a happy note for him and other Fortnite fans.
Also, I guess I'll not comment then.
I was about to say,
So,
I can already hear Panther frothing at the mouth.
His face is getting real red. He thought we were going to run out of time. Nope.
I'm glad you're talking about this.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Okay. Right on. Well, Fatti, it's your topic here. So you say what we're talking about. Of course, it's Fortnite, but what exactly?
Yeah, so Fortnite did some good. Well, I don't know if you call it good, but it's a wholesome story. So back in September, a dad posted his 8-year-old Fortnite son, whatever you want to call him, his son's drawing of a character he thought belonged in Fortnite, who he called the Chicken Trooper. It was real basic drawing you expect from an 8-year-old of this cool little character that had a chicken head. He kind of looked like he had like chicken tender arms and stuff. It was kind of cute. So the dad posted it to the Fortnite subreddit, hoping to kind of get not only some views for it, but also kind of get Epic to see it. Once he uploaded it, the players of Fortnite and people on the subreddit kind of just jumped behind this. They were all about this idea. They loved it so much that a bunch of artists that played the game decided to create concept skins of this character, complete with its own glider, pickaxe, and back bling. So the dad printed out all the pictures of these concepts and posted or taped them on his son's wall. And when he came home from school one day, he recorded a video of him reacting to the concepts. And when he posted the video, he asked Epic to consider putting this character in the game. Well, things went kind of quiet for a while, and nothing really came of it until last week when one of the artists who made one of the concepts confirmed they were contacted by Epic. Around that same time, mysterious feathers started falling around this certain area in Fortnite's map. A lot of people started speculating that this might be the coming of the Chicken Trooper. So data miners started scouring the game's data files and actually found bits and pieces of a new character coming with chicken head and stuff like that. Forward to a couple days ago, the Chicken Trooper is now available for purchase in Fortnite's store. You can actually play this kid's character. He has his own glider, pickaxe, all of that stuff. It's this goofy looking Chicken Trooper. I don't have a name for it. This is just
the name, they don't call it the Chicken Trooper. They call it the Tender Defender.
Wow, I love that. The Tender Defender. Fuck yeah. So this kid's Tender Defender got added to one of the Panther's going to hate me when I say this, one of the most popular games out there right now. So this 8-year-old smile must be just fucking side to side on his face because he gets to play the character he created out of just a simple idea on his favorite game for days to come.
Yeah. And see other people playing as that too.
Exactly. There's going to be a whole troop of Tender Defenders out there. And I hope they just get together and have a Tender Defender party. But I mean, this kind of shows that Epic, well, not only just scouring shit tons of money from this game, they're actually paying attention to their community. So I have to give props to them. You know, there's not a whole lot of game developers or producers out there that would just say, you know, this is kind of a cool idea that one of our players made. Let's throw it in there. I mean, we heard from Spider-Man. That guy got his proposal put in there. That didn't work out for him. I'm sorry, dude. But like, it's rare you hear about those things, right? Yeah. Not a lot of game developers do that. So it's good on Epic. It's really cool for them to do this.
Yeah, for me, I can't think of a negative with this. It's brilliant of them to actually take the time to look at something like this. You know, I mean, who would this letter have had to go to? You know, and then for them to pass it up and then contact artists and everything. Somebody's got to be paying attention to Reddit, of course. And, you know, for them to stay in contact with the community as much to give this even a chance is great. But to take it further and implement it into the game is just, I think it's amazing. I really do. I think that's fantastic. And this is definitely one of the most heartwarming, like just genuinely glad to hear stories. Like, this is great. I love it. Panther really is going to check out for this topic. He's just not here.
Oh, I'm here. I'm here. I want to be positive, but I mean, it's great that they listen and it's great this happened. But my question is, how much fucking money are they making off this 8-year-old's idea? You know, it's not.
Probably a lot. I mean, do you have a way, Fatti, to check how many skins have been sold?
I don't know about how many skins can be sold, but there should be a way to
see what it costs.
Find out how much it costs.
Right.
Okay.
Is this kid getting any royalties on this? His idea? Or so why they changed it to Tender Defender instead of Chicken Trooper? So they can't get any money out of this? I mean, the artist that designed it's likely getting paid. But, I mean, I want to stay positive, but I'm like, you know, everyone wants to praise them for this, but I mean, they took an 8-year-old's idea, changed the name, and all of a sudden they're making money off it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like that's...
Exactly. Like, would money go to him or would it go to the artist that created the concept?
The artist is going to have to get paid. I mean, he wouldn't unless he give the fucking shit away and then just stupid. He'll give nothing away. I mean,
right now the price of this skin is 1,500 V-bucks. Now I don't know what the translation of V-bucks to normal money is, but
well, let's just do.
A moment while we research.
Researching.
Okay, so 1,000 V-bucks costs $9.99 in US dollars.
$13.50 Canadian for 1,000. So if you can only buy 1,000 at a time, you got to spend 20. Oh yeah, you got to spend like just under $30. Jesus Christ.
$30 for the skin?
Well, it's 1,500 if you can only buy 1,000 V-Bucks.
Yeah, so you'd have to do that twice, so that'd be 10, $20. I don't know if
Just
taxes get applied to this.
Just under $30 to get 2,000 V-Bucks, and then 1,500 of those go into
Yeah, $30 Canadian, so it'd be like 20 something.
$20.
Wow.
$20 a skin.
Wow. That's a lot more than I thought.
And then you'll have 500 V-Bucks left. So I don't know what that'll get you. So yeah, I mean they're definitely making their money off this, but on the flip side, this is just a cool thing they did. But they're definitely getting rich off it.
See?
All right, we found the negative, I guess.
I mean, like I said,
I didn't try to. Panther brought it out.
like I said, I have given props to Epic Games for what they've done, but I still don't get how people just keep throwing their fucking wallet at this game and bragging it up to what it is and going like fucking ape shit and just basically their life is Fortnite. I don't get it. I can't wrap my fucking head around the concept. I can't. I'm sorry. I guess
so. The next article we're gonna see is that the headline is gonna be Epic Games steals 8-year-old's idea and makes millions of dollars.
Maybe that's what this should have been called.
Oh, sweet. Fatty's on my side. Yes.
God. I'm gonna take this moment and just be happy for this kid. That's what I'm gonna focus on. Man.
I'm happy for the kid.
Good for this kid, and good on Epic for actually adding it. You know, we're just being real fucking cynical about this. We're just destroying this wholesome story. we're those cranky old men that say, well, that was a good idea, but it still fucked us in the end.
That's not gonna pay his college tuition.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Shit. Yeah. I knew we'd get there. Damn it. All right. Well, that's gonna do it here. Of course, everything that we've talked about is going to be linked in the description of the video and on SoundCloud. For all you guys listening, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Again, this is kind of a, as we announced at the very beginning and mentioned earlier as well, again, Uber will not be regularly showing up for us. He will pop in from time to time, so look forward to seeing him and talking him through either a podcast or playing through Game of the Week with him sometime in the future. But for now, it's going to be the three of us. We'll be back next week. Actually, no, later this week. We got our Game of the Week coming up. That's right. We haven't done that yet. So we will see you guys later, of course. And thanks once again from all of us here, all three of us at Beyond the Controller. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time.
We're recording again.
Fuck.
I just started it again. Like we need to make a statement.
Okay.
All right. Well, we've got breaking emergency news.
The sound effects are on point.
Yeah. Extra, read all about it. Fortnite rapes 8-year-old. No, I'm just
Fortnite steals 8-year-old's idea, makes $1 million a day.
God. We don't know the numbers on what they've made here, but Fatti, looking further into this this sinister deception at Goodwill by Epic Games. Fuck, man, we just recorded how wholesome this was.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And we're back mere minutes later, less than 10 minutes later, recording this update because this is just fucking crazy. So, Fatti, break down these numbers that you just told us again, and let's do some basic math.
All right, so if you are playing Fortnite and you want to get the Tender Defender character, it's going to cost you 1,500 V-Bucks. But if you want a fully decked out Tender Defender, which includes the Scrambler pickaxe and the Flying Carp glider, no, that's not his. The Flappy Flyer glider, sorry.
It's a chicken.
Yeah, the pickaxe is going to cost you another 500 V-bucks, and the glider is going to be another 800. Meaning you're going to have to pay, or you're going to have to dish out 2,800 V-bucks for just one character. Someone do the translation to real money for me with that.
So 1,000 V-bucks. I looked on the Microsoft store. So we're using US dollars here. 1,000 V-bucks is $9.99.
To $10.
So yeah, $10. So for 2,800 V-bucks, I'm assuming you'll have to buy 3 packs of 1,000.
Right.
That's gonna be $30. What the fuck?
So that's $30 per person that download or bought this entire skin. I'm trying to find the numbers of
even
how
the
many people
basic
bought this.
version, as you said at first, is 1,500, right? So that'd be $15 a direct, 100 equals a dollar V-buck to dollar ratio.
Pretty much.
$15 for just the basic. What the fuck, man? The fact that this is kind of tiered, that if you want the complete package, I think is what pisses me off more.
Yep.
Because it's not like, oh, we're going to include this to be really cool. This is a community outreach thing. Everything that I just said during the official recording there, I now take back because I'm getting red in the face over this. This is bullshit. Like, what the? Are you fucking serious? So we were kind of joking as soon as we ended about, okay, well, we had to find the negative and, they could have at least split, like if they really, really wanted to be the good guy in this story and be the hero, is they say, okay, we are going to sell it, but what we're going to do is split, maybe 50% with the artist, 50% with the kid that came up with this idea, because they wouldn't have done this had it not been for those two things, those two people that are directly responsible for this. So proceeds should go to them or something like that, or for me, a great idea as well. If they don't want to give all proceeds or whatever to them, it's just make it free. Just make it a community thing, like it cost them how much? And they make how many billions right now off this fucking game? This is crazy. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars since this game has been released, and all the cosmetics and everything. And again, pointing out, this is a cosmetic item. This doesn't offer any advantage or anything at all. This is simply just something to wear because you think your character looks cool.
And how long before that wears off? And you got to spend another $30 US to kit it another character for another month, and that's not including their battle pass stuff they do every month. So
right,
I mean, like this is my thought process is how that everyone just keeps gloating over what Epic Games is doing, when to me they're being fucking dirty and they're just, like I said, they're I don't know, they're fucking nasty. It's bullshit.
Well, the problem is this is now looking at the pricing. This is so transparent of how do we take this, what could be a feel-good moment and a great opportunity for them to show excellent goodwill with the community. How do they take this and monetize it to the furthest extent that they can? Number one is offer a basic package, but it's still going to be expensive because that's $15 again with the direct, 100 equals a dollar V-bucks to dollar ratio. But beyond that is, how do we get more money? Okay, so offer the other things separately. Maybe they don't want the chicken flyer, a glider, or maybe they don't want the egg whisk beater, or vice versa, or whatever the case may be. And you can buy those individually. Or maybe you don't want to buy the full chicken or tender defender skin, but you want to buy one or the other because you think those are cool. Either way, they're monetizing it in a way to maximize sales on this. And that's an obscene amount of money for just a skin. $30? Like for the full package, $30? That's fucking unreal.
Now, you're both parents. I mean, I know both your children, well, except for Fatti, your child's definitely way too young to be playing video games. But
no, dude, he's better than Ninja already.
He's better than Ninja? Well, yeah. There you go. But I mean, I know Baker, your daughter, I mean, in a few years, she's going to be that, kind of getting into that age, well, I guess, more than a few years. She's not that old yet, but.
Well, she's getting into mobile games already.
Right. So, I mean, as a parent, if your child came to you and says, I already love this. Okay, well, I mean, I'm she's a girl, and I'm gonna say, like, I love this My Little Pony game. I want to spend $30 so I can have a purple My Little Pony for a month. What would you say to her?
No, absolutely not.
Exactly.
No. Under no circumstances is that going to happen.
Exactly. So I mean, I get them doing this thing for that 8-year-old. I get that. That is awesome. I'm not saying that this is a bad thing up front, but I said, and this is one of my statement pretty much right after we went off air, was someone saw this on Reddit and the first thing they saw was fucking dollar signs. And it's fucking disgusting.
I've got to agree.
And it's fucking disgusting.
After seeing this breakdown and the pricing, I got to agree now.
Unless Epic comes out with a statement and says, "Oh, the proceeds are going to the artist that drew this character up for us, and and so much money is going to the kid. The rest is going in development costs of the character and server maintenance and blah 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 blah, whatever." But if they're not giving money to this child for this fucking idea that blew up on the internet, that just turned around and made them fucking $30 a pop, is fucking, it's just disgusting. Epic Games can go fuck themselves. China is better than fucking Epic Games right now. And China hates Winnie the Pooh. Like, fucking Christ, man. Like,
so the new headline that we're working with is, what could have been a tender moment turned out that Epic Games clucks this kid over.
Oh, damn. Damn. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Ah, fuck.
It's absurd. It's ridiculous.
And
what a filthy move to super monetize this like that. Like,
I want to see someone comment and defend this on an honest fucking level.
Is there a tender defender out there?
Yeah. or you've all just been clucked over.
Yeah.
Like,
Jesus, man.
Yeah.
We had to do the update. We've never gone post podcast and recorded an update like this.
No.
That's how much of a 180 we just did on. I mean, not you, because you're Panther.
Hey, I admit when I make a mistake. I've always been that way, but I was not wrong on this. Sadly. Unless Epic Games released a statement and I'll retract what I said. But as of right now, this is just fucking dirty.
Yeah. Fatti, any update on finding any sales numbers or anything?
No, I can't find anything, but I'm gonna keep searching to see if I can find something.
All right. Well, shit. All right. Well, we're gonna sign off here for the second time, and God, I just hope that we don't find anything else. It's gonna piss us off enough to come back for a third update. So, all right. I don't know, Panther, even how you're gonna arrange this for the podcast. Maybe just kind of hit the brakes. Cue the audio, and then breaking news update.
Yeah, I'll definitely find a way to make sure people know this. Yeah, I'll definitely put something in the title of the video, so people know to stay tuned after we sign off, because there's going to be they have to listen to this. This is important.
Yeah, knowing this now, this should have been much further up on what we talked about.
You should have been number one.
Yeah. God, what a fucking travesty! They had every opportunity to make this a great thing.
Yeah, they clucked us good.
Sucks. They clucked us good. Wow. They had to pluck every last dollar out of this.
Oh, shit.
Any excitement I had for this topic has been glazed over.
Okay, we need to stop. But I will admit, some of those were pretty excellent.
Oh shit.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, if we receive any further updates, we'll continue to peck at Epic Games.
Oh shit. All right, we gotta end it. This is getting too much.
It's too much. It's too much. Yeah, we don't have any more information to feed you guys. All right, that's it. I'm done. Signing off. See ya.